is the Fox 5 News Block.
A violent weekend in Los Angeles as protesters clash with law enforcement over the ICE raids in the city. The governor now saying that he plans to sue President Trump over deploying the National Guard. But first, deliberations resume in the sex crimes retrial of Harvey Weinstein, with jurors expressing concern about the process to the judge. Good afternoon, Bianca Peters. Welcome to the News Block. Today, jurors have sent notes to the judge. One saying, quote, "There is a situation that is not very good." Fox 5 returning live outside the courthouse in Lower Manhattan with more details from inside of the courtroom. Stephanie, what's happening there?
Hey, Bianca. Well, the lunch break just wrapped up. The jury requested lunch. The judge granted the request. The break was from 2 to 3. Before that, though, there was a reread of a section of the testimony today. Specifically, it pertained to why a sexually assaulted woman may continue a relationship with a predator. Harvey Weinstein, who is 73 years old, has been attending the trial in a wheelchair. The former film producer is not in perfect health. In court this morning, the prosecution and the defense spoke privately with the judge. Also in court this morning, the jury asked the judge to repeat the reasonable doubt definition, which the judge did go through. There were also some additional notes that came out to the judge. The trial is actually a retrial. It came after Weinstein's 2020 conviction on sex crimes was overturned here in New York. He was convicted in Los Angeles in a separate sex crimes case. In this trial, 3 women testified. The former movie producer sexually assaulted them. Weinstein has pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of committing a criminal sex act and 1 count of rape. This is, of course, day 3 of deliberations, Bianca. So everybody wants to know when that verdict will come down. Of course, we don't know. It's a lot of watching and waiting right now. I'm heading back inside. Back to you.
All right, Stephanie, thanks so much. Meanwhile, deliberations are about to resume. The jury just requested lunch, and the judge granted that request. That break from 2 to 3 p.m. Before the break, there was a readback of what was happening there in the courtroom. Meanwhile, to this time, more rallies are expected today in Los Angeles, but so far things remain mostly quiet. Unrest over the weekend turned violent, with people shutting down major highways, throwing objects at authorities, and setting cars on fire. Fox 5's Antoine Lewis joins us live in the newsroom with the very latest developments on all of this. Antoine.
A lot going on, Bianca, and officials are bracing for more demonstrations as downtown L.A. remains a tense situation between law enforcement officers and anti-ICE protesters. A heavy police presence this morning in downtown L.A. This is the area near City Hall. Protests in response to Trump immigration policies led to violent clashes over the weekend. As you pointed out, cars set on fire, smoke bombs were tossed, and dozens were arrested. Police also fired rubber bullets into the crowds. Now, Sunday was the 3rd day of the protests and the most violent. Despite the objections of California Governor Gavin Newsom, the president ordered the deploy of about 300 National Guard's troops to L.A. in an attempt to quell the demonstrations. Things escalated to the point that officers again firing into the crowds with rubber bullets and using tear gas as well. Demonstrators describing the chaos.
They're shooting people just because we're walking towards them in their direction, like we're a threat.
They're using extreme force and tear gas on regular civilians. It's almost like a third world country out here. I can't believe I would see this in the streets of L.A.
California Governor Gavin Newsom announcing plans to file suit against the Trump administration for ordering National Guard's troops to L.A. without consulting him first, which he called illegal and immoral, adding that it caused things to escalate. That's the very latest. More coming up today at 5. We'll send things now, Bianca. Back upstairs to you.
All right, Antoine, thanks so much. Meanwhile, protests taking place right here in New York. Just an hour ago, our cameras captured NYPD officers placing protesters in cuffs outside of Trump Tower. Right now, it's unclear how many people were taken into custody. Turning now to the forecast, a live look outside right now. Pretty dreary as we start the Monday work week. Let's bring in meteorologist Audrey Puente for a look at the forecast. Hey, Audrey.
You're right, Bianca. Dreary is how we're starting off our week here. We have lots of gray clouds in place. There's some patchy fog also across parts of the region. And of course, we have those patchy areas of drizzle as well as some showers too. Temperatures are cooler than normal for this time of year. We're in the 60s in many spots, including East Hampton, Poughkeepsie, Monticello checking in at 60 degrees. We're at 66 at Newark and 63 down the shore in Belmar. And here's the temperature temperature change from 24 hours ago. And yes, the readings are cooler, running about 5 to almost 15 degrees colder than at this time yesterday. Our winds a little breezy at times. That's adding to the chill here coming in off the cooler ocean waters. We have an east wind that's keeping us with that damp feel across the region. We also have some patchy fog, and that has reduced visibility across parts of the region. We don't have any dense fog advisories in effect. However, that fog and combined with some of the patchy rain and drizzle could result in you slowing down in some areas, or at least be slowed down because of the wet surfaces across the region. The shower activity that came through earlier is now kind of shifted off to the north here. We still have some rain showers east of the Hudson River here up towards northern Westchester into Putnam counties too. Also Fairfield County getting some rainfall that's now moving northward into Litchfield County. Everyone else mainly dry. There could be the threat of some drizzle though as we move through the rest of the afternoon here. There's a line we're watching off to the west here that's producing some significant rainfall across western New York. It's going to fall apart though before it reaches the tri-state area, so that's good news for us. We'll have lots of clouds staying in place though. Again, watch out for a passing shower or patchy drizzle as we move along through the rest of the evening. We are expecting drier weather though as we go into the middle part of the week, and even hotter weather. We're going back to summer-like readings coming the second half of the week. I'll have the details coming up. Bianca?
All right, Audrey, looking forward to it. Meanwhile, to this now, some breaking news. A judge has dismissed Justin Baldoni's countersuit against Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. Baldoni sued Lively for $400 million, claiming the actress falsely accused him of sexual harassment in an attempt to repair her reputation. According to documents obtained by Fox News Digital, the judge says Baldoni has not accused his co-star of making statements outside of her legal complaint, which is privileged. Lively is accusing her This Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni of sexual harassment. Baldoni has denied all allegations, and a trial is currently set for March 2026. All right, to developing news now, the U.S. Department of Transportation has until 5 p.m. today to submit all of its evidence as to why congestion pricing should end. A federal judge granted a temporary restraining order that prevents federal transportation officials from withholding federal funds if transit and state officials did not discontinue the congestion pricing program. Now, the MTA estimates it will take in $500 million this year from congestion pricing. That money will be used for subway and bus improvements and system-wide enhancements. And federal officials are reducing the amount of flights in and out of Newark Airport through the end of the year to smooth out delays. The FAA says arrivals and departures will generally be limited to 34 flights each per hour starting June 16th through October 25th. And then on weekends from September 1st through December 31st, arrivals and departures will be capped at 28 flights per hour just to accommodate runway construction. This comes after thousands of flights were disrupted over the last month due to staffing shortages as well as critical technology outages and the runway closure. Well, President Trump's travel ban now in effect. It impacts citizens from 12 mainly African and Middle East countries. Some of these countries include Iran, Haiti, Yemen, and Libya. It also imposes heightened restrictions on people from Cuba, Laos, and Venezuela. This new ban does not revoke visas previously issued to people from countries on the list. And some developing news. U.S. and Chinese delegations are meeting in London today to try and establish a truce in a trade dispute that's ruffled the global economy. The talks are set to last at least a day, and they follow negotiations in Geneva last month that brought a temporary truce in the trade war. The two countries announced May 12th that they agreed to a 90-day suspension of most of the 100% plus tariffs that they imposed on one another in an escalating trade war that had sparked fears of recession. All right, we'll be right back. Stay with us.
Are you ready for the ultimate entertainment experience? Spectrum is bringing together the streaming apps you love. Plus, live TV for sports, entertainment, and news. All in one place, across your devices. So no matter when or where you are, it's all here. Spectrum.
All right, welcome back. Tomorrow is primary day in New Jersey. Voters in the Garden State will select Democratic and Republican candidates for governor. Leading Democratic candidates include Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill, Newark Mayor Ross Baraka, Jersey City Mayor Steve Fulop, and Congressman Josh Gottheimer. Former State Assemblyman Jack Ciattarelli, who is endorsed by President Trump, leads the Republican field. Yesterday was the last day for in-person early voting. Meanwhile, the FIFA Club World Cup kicks off here in the U.S. this week with Game 1 in Miami. And this year, FIFA will have its inaugural halftime performance during the final game. J Balvin, Doja Cat, and Thames will headline. The show will be curated by Chris Martin of Coldplay along with Global Citizen. The final game is Sunday, July 13th at MetLife Stadium. Well, Disney's Lilo and Stitch still sitting atop the spot at the box office. It is the third straight time the film is at #1 with $32.5 million, bringing its total domestic haul to about $336 million. And then Ballerina, the new John Wick spinoff starring Ana de Armas, debuted in second place with $25 million, which is actually the lowest of any movie in that film series since the first John Wick in 2014. A special rescue on Staten Island now. The NYPD freed a group of ducklings that were stuck in a sewer over the weekend. This happened Saturday morning near Seidman Avenue and Amboy Road in Eltingville. The emergency service unit was able to remove the baby ducklings and reunite them with their mother. Happy ending there. Not so happy outside, but let's take a live look there and talk about the weather. This is just what we're dealing with, Audrey Puente. Hopefully it'll clear up sometime soon in the week.
That's true. By midweek, I think Bianca will see a much better picture there on that sky cam shot. We have low clouds in place, a couple of showers moving northeast of the city right now, and there's another line that looks pretty ominous just to our west. The good news is the more intense part of this line will actually fall apart before it reaches the tri-state area, but we could get clipped with a couple of isolated showers later on this afternoon. We have an area of low pressure in our vicinity that's helping to ignite a lot of this activity, and we're watching a secondary low that's off towards our west. These are going to keep us unsettled for the rest of today as well as into tomorrow. And tomorrow, I think there'll be a greater chance of more widespread scattered showers and maybe even a thunderstorm, too. Here it plays out on our future cast. The clouds remain. We can see that line coming in from the west here. It may clip portions of the Hudson Valley before it kind of fizzles out as we go into the late hours of this evening. We'll see a couple of scattered showers rolling through overnight, but it's really tomorrow morning where we'll see the rain become more enhanced once again. And that's when we'll have the steady rainfall across the region. So when you head out the door on Tuesday morning, definitely have your wet weather gear handy. We're expecting rain for the first half of the day, and a lot of it will shift off to New England by early afternoon. So we'll be left with some sunshine breaking through the cloud cover before the day's end, but there still is the chance of an afternoon shower and maybe an isolated thunderstorm too. But check out what's coming in from the west. We have clear and drier weather just behind this front. That gets here on Wednesday, and not only will it be drier, it's also going to be quite warm too. We're looking at temperatures moving back into the 80s and feeling very summer-like as we go into the second half of our week here. So looking for our temperatures today, they'll be below normal for this time of year, mostly in the 60s across the tri-state area. We could crack 70 in Sussex, New Jersey. And then tonight, not too far of a drop. We'll have numbers mostly in the 60s, and we'll have chances of showers and maybe an isolated thunderstorm. And then tomorrow, more of the same. We're expecting scattered showers, maybe a thunderstorm too, especially in the first half of the day. Once the sun breaks through in the afternoon, we're going to warm it up to 77 degrees. Warmer still and drier on Wednesday with a high of 84. Feeling like summer by Thursday, and we stay in the 80s right through Friday. Next threat of rain comes in on Saturday, but Sunday looks to be the drier day of the upcoming weekend. Bianca?
All right, Audrey, thanks so much. Well, that's your news block for now. I'm Bianca Peters. Thanks for joining us. Tune into the 5 o'clock news on Fox 5 and right here on Fox Local for all the day's news as it develops. We'll see you back here tomorrow.